This is now, I'd have to say, my 4th year coming to a Turning Point event, and although I am now a member of Congress, I got my start where all of you are today. So my first event was actually at the Young Women's Leadership Summit back in 2018. And thank you. This organization has been incredibly important to fighting for the youth of this nation. When I had the choice, and mind you, I had planned on going to medical school, I was going to go out there, rejoin the military, and find a way to give back to my community that way. But when Charlie Kirk called me in August of 2018 and said, Anna, we need your help, I really had a decision to make. Was I going to stay and fight and get engaged in the conversation, or was I going to leave to go to medical school? And I really chose to stay because I realized the fight that we as a nation are currently facing. I saw that they were increasingly telling my generation, younger generations, that socialism was a good thing and that it hadn't been done correctly yet. I increasingly heard that it was wrong for women to be pro-life, that we shouldn't have our Second Amendment, that the founding fathers of the United States were racist. I did not agree with those things. And it is so incredibly important that one person, it doesn't matter who you are, what background you come from, you could literally come from a circumstance like how I came and grew up. I grew up in the welfare system. I had a very young single mom who had me. My father was in and out of prison. He struggled with a methamphetamine addiction. And yet all of those things I realized, because I was born in one of the greatest countries in the world, the United States, were only a part of my story but would not hold me back. Thank you. I joined the military. It's where I met my husband, Andy, who in 2014 was shot in Afghanistan. He received a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, but he kept deploying because he also loves this nation. Shortly into my job with Turning Point USA, I was their National Hispanic Outreach Director, and part of what I did is I would go on media. And I would share what I was finding out about what was happening at the border with human trafficking. And yet people online, largely, were calling me a conspiracy theorist. They were saying that I was a coconut, that I was whitewashed, that I wasn't Hispanic enough, because I was not regurgitating the lies that the left was putting out there about immigration. Yeah, for those, just real quick, show of hands, who here has been called a race traitor or a coconut because you're a minority that embraces conservative values? Okay, good for you guys, because those people that call you those names, they're uninformed. They don't know what's happening in our country, and the leftist media wants to use people like that to keep your voices from speaking the truth. The truth, and this is something that I know now more than ever, is one of the most powerful forms of cleaning up what's happening in this country. I'm seeing it all the time, and I'm learning very quickly, especially being in Washington, that sometimes they don't want you to speak the truth. But I didn't get elected to lie to the American people. I got elected to fight, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you. So as I continued to put out there what was happening, the fact that Hispanic women and children are the largest targeted demographic in human trafficking, the fact that even previous to 2016, Democrats had the same viewpoints that, the left had the same viewpoints that conservatives had on immigration. What changed? Well, maybe the fact that in 2016, the largest voting minority in the country was projected to be Hispanic Americans, specifically of Mexican descent. That is exactly why they changed the national narrative. That is exactly why they started to push open borders. That is exactly why, knowing full well that there would be an issue with people being hurt on both sides, that they chose to lie to the American people. I did not want to be a part of that. There's so many great people here today. I know Anthony Cabasa is one of them, a conservative, independent journalist. Drew Hernandez, who's now with Turning Point USA. Many of those people back then started out as grassroots activists attending these events. And those are the same people today that are leading the fight against the progressive left, especially that left that's trying to indoctrinate the now largest voting minority in the